You ever have that feeling where you're just going through the motions? There's that tiny voice in the back of your head whispering, is this really it? Well, that feeling, it isn't failure. It's actually the very first step to waking up. So today, we're going to uncover the invisible scripts that run our lives and talk about how you can finally take the wheel.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to diagnose what it even means to live on autopilot. Then we'll do some digging to see where these scripts actually come from. After that, we'll talk about that courageous moment of choosing to wake up. And finally, we're going to arm you with a seriously powerful toolkit for rewriting your own rules for life.
Okay, let's dive right in with a feeling I think a lot of us know way too well. That sense of being disconnected, even when, on paper, everything looks just fine.
I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's that sudden, kind of jarring realization that you've been a passenger in your own life. And look, it's not your fault. The world is pretty much designed to keep us on autopilot. But that feeling of being disconnected, that's the first crack of light getting in.
So, what does autopilot actually feel like? Well, I bet some of these symptoms look familiar. It's that quiet ache in your chest, even when nothing is technically wrong. It's when you start measuring your own worth in numbers, like followers, the number on your paycheck. It's that bizarre feeling that life is both way too much and somehow not enough, all at the same time. And oh, that tightness in your chest when you say yes, but your entire body, your entire soul is screaming no. These aren't signs you're failing. They're alarms. They are your soul's smoke detectors, and they're going off.
This is such a perfect way to think about it. We're so often handed a life that looks great on the hanger, but it just doesn't actually fit who we are. That feeling of being constricted, of not being able to move freely, that's the discomfort of wearing someone else's identity. And the key insight here is so powerful. You're not broken. You've just outgrown the script.
Okay, so where do these ill-fitting scripts even come from? Well, to understand that, we have to go way back. Like back to the very beginning, to experiences that shaped us long before we could even form memories.
Just try to imagine this for a second. As an infant, there's no real separation between you and the world around you. There's just raw experience. A puddle can be a portal to another dimension. A chair can be a giant's throne. It's in this magical, totally unfiltered state that our most fundamental scripts about safety, about love, and about our place in the world are first written into our code.
But that dreamscape, it is incredibly fragile. See, when a child's world is filled with stress, like the constant grinding worry of poverty, their brain physically rewires itself for survival. This idea of cognitive bandwidth explains it perfectly. When all of your mental energy is just spent on getting by, there's literally nothing left for dreaming, or planning, or growing. A scarcity mindset isn't some kind of character flaw. It's a neurological adaptation.
Some of the deepest and most painful scripts are written not by what happened to us, but by what didn't. Emotional neglect isn't always about trauma you can see. Sometimes it's about the silence, the absence of warmth. It's that subtle daily message that your feelings are an inconvenience, and that your needs are a burden to everyone else.
And this story about Noah just makes it so painfully real. His father wasn't cruel. He just wasn't really there for him. The attention always went to his brother. So what did Noah learn? He learned a devastating lesson. To be safe, to be loved, you must become invisible and need nothing. That kind of emotional silence, it can be louder than any scream.
And this, right here, is the invisible inheritance that so many of us carry around. These are the scripts that get passed down in silence. The belief that you have to be agreeable to be loved, that you always have to give but never receive, that your own needs are just a burden. Listen, these aren't parts of your personality. They are survival strategies that you learned when you were a child.
So what happens when you finally start to see these scripts for what they really are? Well, you find yourself at a crossroads. A choice between the familiar, stifling comforts of the life you've known and the uncertain, scary path toward a life that's actually truly yours. This is the fundamental choice we all face. And let's be honest, most people retreat here. The familiar, even if it's slowly killing us, feels safer than the terrifying uncertainty of the unknown. But here's the secret. That unknown space, that's where you finally start to feel alive again. So how do you actually make that choice? It doesn't start with some giant leap of faith, thank goodness. It starts small. Step one is just noticing. Notice that tightness in your chest, but also notice the small sparks of joy. These are your clues. Step two, practice presence. Just be here, right now, without waiting for the perfect moment to be ready. And step three, follow those clues. They're like breadcrumbs leading you back to a life that actually fits you.
This is such a critical way to reframe discomfort. We're all taught to see it as a sign of failure, but it's not. It is the feeling of growth itself. It's the friction of you shedding an old skin and becoming someone new. That space, that gap between who you were and who you're becoming, that is the most powerful place you can possibly be. All right, so once we've decided to step into that discomfort, how do we actively start rewriting our own rules? This last section offers a really powerful toolkit for courageous living, and it's inspired by the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche.
So the first principle sounds simple, but it is a thunderbolt. Become who you are. Now, this isn't about some gentle self-discovery journey with candles and a journal. No, this is a battle. It means actively digging through all the beliefs, all the fears, all the masks you've inherited from other people. It's about waging war on your own conditioning to find the true, authentic self that's been buried underneath all that noise.
Next up is the principle of amor fati, to love your fate. And this is not about passively accepting whatever happened to you. It's an active, warrior's embrace of your entire past, the good, the bad, and the brutal. It means saying yes to every single scar because it forged you into the person you are today. See, when you reject your past, you're rejecting a part of yourself. But when you love your fate, you become unbreakable.
And the final principle, live dangerously. Now, this has nothing to do with physical risk. It's about the emotional risk of being truly, completely authentic. Most people choose the safety of the job they hate or the relationship that's lifeless because telling the truth is terrifying. But that kind of safety, that's the slow death of the soul. To live dangerously is to risk it all. Disapproval, loneliness, failure, just to be honest. Because it's only on that edge that you truly, finally come alive. And all of this, it all leads to one final devastating question, the test of the eternal return. Imagine a demon tells you that you have to relive your life, exactly as it is now, with every single joy and every single pain, over and over again for eternity. Now, the point isn't whether this is real or not. The question is a challenge. Are you living with such courage, such intensity, and such honesty that you would not curse that fate, but that you would bless it? That's the ultimate goal, to build a life you would gladly say yes to again and again and again.